Trump hits Canada, Mexico, China with high tariffs as trade war intensifies. United States President Donald Trump's new 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada have taken effect, along with a doubling of duties on Chinese goods to 20%, launching new trade conflicts with the top 3 U.S. trading partners. The tariff actions, which could upend nearly $2.2 trillion in two-way annual U.S. trade, went live at 0:01 Eastern Standard Time, 5:01 Greenwich Mean Time, on Tuesday, hours after Trump declared that all 3 countries had failed to do enough to stem the flow of the deadly opioid fentanyl and its precursor chemicals into the U.S. China responded immediately after the deadline, announcing additional tariffs of 10% and 15% on certain U.S. imports from March 10th and a series of new export restrictions for designated U.S. entities, Canada and Mexico, which have enjoyed a virtually tariff-free trading relationship with the U.S. for 3 decades, were poised to immediately retaliate against their longtime ally. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Ottawa would respond with immediate 25% tariffs on $20.7 billion worth of U.S. imports and on another $86.2 billion if Trump's tariffs were still in place in 21 days. He said previously that Canada would target U.S. beer, wine, bourbon, home appliances, and Florida orange juice. Tariffs will disrupt an incredibly successful trading relationship, Trudeau said, adding that they would violate the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement signed by Trump during his first term. Ontario Premier Doug Ford told NBC Network that he was ready to cut off shipments of nickel and transmission of electricity from his province to the U.S. in retaliation. Mexican President Claudia Shin was expected to announce her response during a morning news conference in Mexico City on Tuesday, the country's economy ministry said. China tariffs. The extra 10% duty on Chinese goods adds to a 10% tariff imposed by Trump on February 4th to punish Beijing over the U.S. fentanyl overdose crisis. The cumulative 20% duty also comes on top of tariffs of up to 25%, imposed by Trump during his first term on some $370 billion worth of U.S. imports. Some of these products saw U.S. tariffs increase sharply under former President Joe Biden last year, including a doubling of duties on Chinese semiconductors to 50% and a quadrupling of tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles to more than 100%. The 20% tariff will apply to several major U.S. consumer electronics imports from China previously untouched by duties, including smartphones, laptops, video game consoles, smartwatches, speakers, and Bluetooth devices. China's new tariffs announced on Tuesday targeted a wide range of U.S. agricultural products, including certain meats, grains, cotton, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. Reporting from outside the world's largest wholesale market in China's Yiwu City, Al Jazeera's Tony Ching said the new tariffs came as China is very keen to open up markets in the West, particularly in the U.S. It is not being allowed at the moment, and it's a real concern here, he said. The small traders in places like Yiwu live and die pretty much on these kinds of tariffs. They say the margins are already very small. Beijing also placed 25 U.S. firms under export and investment restrictions on national security grounds. 10 of these firms were targeted for selling arms to Taiwan. China's Ministry of Commerce said the U.S. tariffs violated World Trade Organization rules and undermine the basis for economic and trade cooperation between China and the U.S. Trump's additional tariffs on China came as the Asian country's leadership gathered for 2 sessions, the annual closed-door meetings of China's parliament, and a separate political advisory body.